Well, hello, everyone. Welcome. Today is 111. Juno's here with me. A lot of of her facts. I don't know why my phone started. Okay. Feels interesting, this energy today. Juno, how are you feeling with it?
Well, it's kind of unique here. I live in the desert, and it just right before we got connected to start the show today got really blustery. So that definitely, the winds of change are blowing around me, whatever that means. And
Yes,
if it's
yes.
coming here, it's coming your way eventually.
Eventually. And the number one, right, is for new beginnings. But I'm using this as like an our personal activation number. Something just kept saying that to me all week. Like we're activating uh I want to say a higher aspect of us. Not to sound like superior, but we have more of our higher selves coming into our bodies. And this is this year. Okay, we all know what the last few years was like. It was very, very hard, uncomfortable. We were releasing a lot of the pain and trauma from previous early childhood, but even more than that, previous lifetimes. And it was it was quite challenging. And I kept getting the information the year will be different. Even though this year is going to be extremely hard if our focus is on the circus, right? But if we're focusing inside on our hearts, on what we love and value, and really giving ourselves this grace and ease to go forward, to to let what's trying to integrate into us, give it the time and space to do that. We're always told on the first of the year, you got to have goals, you got to have a plan, you got to go. You're behind. Do you just kind of feel like you're behind already? Well, that's the opposite of what I'm getting. And it's like to be at peace, take your time. I think we all have ideas on what it is we want to go forward with, but we still don't have all the information yet. We have Uranus is still retrograde. He'll go direct on the 26th. But we have Pluto going into Aquarius with the Sun on the 20th. Something is in this space and period feels like a time at a time while we're receiving this new energy that's coming in to us, but it's individual. It's not I mean, we get together every day on these and watch videos and or in the chats with each other. But I think this really helps us because we are bringing in that higher vibration. We bring in like a circle of unconditional love and truth, and this helps us integrate what it is that our higher selves are bringing into us. So the number one is for new beginnings, new opportunities. As soon as you choose you, everything else chooses you. They brought this to my attention this morning, and this is the season of you. That to me really spoke volumes because, again, we're being told, get your ducks all lined up and get busy and go, go, go. But choose you and give yourself grace and ease and trust what it is you're feeling, trust your instincts. I think everybody here does that. We know our guidance um, uh, is speaking to us and bringing us. It almost feels like we're being brought to a different timeline, I guess. What do you think about any of this, Juno? Poor Juno.
Well, and I don't know whether it's because the more I get into this zone or meditation or whatever, the more time slips, it
Mm,
seems. Like
yeah,
sometimes it'll seem like it's really slow, but a lot of times it seems like I don't know where that whole chunk of time went.
yeah.
It's not like I don't have clocks around me and dogs to remind me what time of day it is. They know exactly what time they eat twice a day, and they let me know about 15 minutes or 30 minutes before. So, um, but yeah, I find it very interesting. I'm not quite sure how to explain. I think it's such a new concept in a way that and speaking of taking concepts that are not something you can visually see, like time, you can see
Right.
how time is represented, but you can't see energy necessarily. You can see the effects of energy, what happens when energy is applied or present. But I ran across a little new toy that I've had, well, not a new toy, I've had it for a long time, but it just spoke to me today and said, "Oh, time to come play."
It's
So
like our community, huh?
yeah, exactly. So toys for the community. So I don't know if any of maybe some of you out there are familiar with this. And by the way, and thank you again, Val, for doing the show with me today, having me on your channel and joining energies. I just love it when we work together. So,
I do too. Thank you for coming and hanging out with us.
oh, of course,
Love
my
it.
pleasure.
Love
So
it.
this one specific one, the name of it is a sci-fi tube. They come in all kinds of names. They're not very expensive. So, oh, you're going to have to see my naked hands because it's not going to work with the gloves.
Oh
Here we
wow.
go. I'm going commando, guys. Okay, it must be a big day.
You're not getting naked.
Big
Uh-oh.
change, and I didn't do my nails or anything. But anyway, at least I did wash my hands. So
Yeah, I haven't done
what
my
you
nails.
do is when you hold one side to show how energy works with our body, like when I talk about Jinshin Jitsu and jumper cabling, is how Mary would describe how that's the way the energy is. The connection that you make on the body, you're just jumper cabling. You're not putting something in or taking something out. So I have one
Mm.
hand just connected. This does not have buttons that push on and off or anything. But when I join the other hand, you can see it lights up and makes a noise. Take my hand
Wow.
off, it stops. Put it on. Either hand. So I would take this to different, like to Jinshin Jitsu. At the end, we all hold hands after a 5-day class or whatever, however, many
Mhm.
days, but we all hold hands in a circle. And then, we look at each other and, I, I thank you, or, thank you, whatever. We give a greeting and kiss the back of the hand that you're holding,
Mm.
and they pass it around the circle. And then when they reach the end of the circle, they go and reverse it. And so everybody gets their hand kissed. Each hand gets kissed, but it's just sending that energy. So I thought, well, I'm going to take this. So then we've added that in to show if everybody's standing in a circle and there's two people, one each holding that, the energy of the group will light up and make a noise.
That's so cool.
So that shows you know, how we're all connected in a visible way. So
That is really cool because we say that every time I am in a show or in a chat. I'm like, God, its energy always feels so good because we're all in there together. But that is a perfect visual tool to show us how we really are. We are like that. We're just
yeah,
our
and we do
energy.
have energy in our hands, and our body is an electrical, it's like the Uncle Fester light bulb almost, but a little more elegantly, a little more colorfully, and it takes more than his mouth. So, but yeah,
Yeah.
so, and I'm not promoting these or anything, you guys can, I think I got that probably off of Amazon, and I don't know any more about it than that. I don't have the packaging or anything, but they're a
Oh
lot
wow.
of fun, and they're a good way, and to bring people on that have no idea, newbies or even not even newbies, want to be newbies, don't even know they want to be newbies. Oh, thank you. Thanks, Sylvia.
Good.
Yeah, that's still in process, so that's why the edges are kind of ragged. But this is the expanding universe. This is my latest one I'm working on. So
Well, let's say hi to everybody real
yeah,
quick.
yeah.
How is everyone today on this 111? Richie's Reach. Hi, Viviani. Hi, Bora Bora. Let's see, Butterfly Kisses Healing. Chris MK. Jazz. Judith. Hi, Judith. Judith, I'm sorry I would say your name wrong, your last name, and I don't want to butcher it. Um, Lori Hunsinger. Hello. And oh, Nancy Vasquez. Fatima. Hi, Fatima. Hi, Jane. Hi, Jay. Let's see. All right, I think we got everybody. Very cool. Thanks for coming to hang out with us, guys. We're going to talk about Juno's going to bring in the number one with Jin Shin Jitsu, which is really cool. You want to? Are you ready for that, Juno?
Sure. Yeah,
Okay.
we can, and then if I do this first, then while you guys are listening to the rest of the video, you can I'm going to teach you 2 safety energy locks today. One is safety energy lock 1 and one is safety energy lock 11. So
Mm-hmm.
while you're listening to both me and Val, you can be holding these and see if you feel anything, or, it won't hurt you. I can promise you that. So the first one we're going to talk about is safety energy lock 1. And so I'm going to show you. I made this diagram. So let's see, get it in my camera so you guys can see it. So we call these bone daddies, these diagrams, but these are the classic diagrams that are the outline of the body that they use in the Jinshin Jitsu textbooks.
Okay.
And so safety energy lock 1 is located on the inside of your knees. I did it in purple there, if you can see. And then there's also a high safety energy lock 1 that was just up from there, maybe almost a third of the way or so on the inside of your thigh. And you'll find it with a bullseye. You'll find a tender spot there, but you don't have to, you can just palm over the area, either one of them. You don't have to be specific, or if you want to really get in there, you can feel around with your fingertips until you find it really, it'll get your attention when you hit where the energy is really stuck. But either way works. And even butterfly touch works, and even holding above the body works, because each safety energy lock is, and I'll back up and define that. But each one is a divine fluid being. So they extend beyond the body and inside the body. But a safety energy lock acts like a circuit breaker in your house. And so what that does is like it protects from injury or illness. If any of those things, or you have a lot of stress come on, these safety energy locks will respond by closing down in a way to protect your body, or, your whole system, just the way it does in your house, if you get a power surge or something. So there's a lot more to them than that, but that's the basic, what the term safety energy lock means. And I agree. I understand that it's kind of it's a strange term, kind of like Jinshin Jitsu, something different, but Mary was very specific. Mary Burmeister, who was the founder of Jinshin Jitsu in Scottsdale. She's the one who brought it here from Japan. But she was very specific with how she worded things. And the more you understand what a safety energy lock in is, it's really the best way to explain it. It's just wrapping our heads around new language, But we also refer to them as, you can just call it an SEL for safety energy lock. And some people say cell, but that's not something that I was taught. But we would know what you meant. So you guys, the way you would work with this is cross your hands and hold the inside of your knees, or you can do the high one that's just, part way up, and see what you can feel there. Now there's a club in California that they call themselves the One Club. They did this for an hour a day, every day, and they had the most tremendous changes in their life. So people who are feeling stuck or want to bring on some good manifestations or whatever, and you can break it up and do it, 3 20-minute sessions, or do it 10 minutes at a time. And any is better than none.
Right.
So, you're sitting there watching TV, you're riding as a passenger in a car, you can do it lying on your bed and have like kind of in sort of a fetal position, bring your knees up, and you can do it that way. This is very powerful. And if it's the only safety energy lock you ever remember from any of the things that, that I've presented, this is the prime mover and the general practitioner. So this does it all. And it's also correlated to the thumb. So if you want to have the same effect, you can hold either thumb, and you can hold, like I'm just gently holding it, or you can, get in here, and we call it detailing, and you can look for, just go little by little and putting pressure on there, and you can see where you feel any tenderness. If you feel tenderness, you hang out there, and it will work with the breath, inhales and exhales, and that will, you'll find that tenderness will dissipate.
So that tenderness is actually like the energy is kind of backed up there.
Well, Mary Burmeister would say, muscles don't hurt and bones don't hurt, tension hurts. So these are, like I said, these are the areas in the body, these safety energy lock are where, in pretty much everyone, that's a general area where, according to the flows in the body, where it's most commonly to get, going to get stuck, or, like you say, backed up, or, it's not flowing. Let's put it that way. Let's put it in a positive term. So what we're doing by holding either the thumbs or holding the safety energy lock 1 on the inside of the knees or the thighs is we're harmonizing. What do babies do? Babies suck their thumbs. They're harmonizing. Their babies are very wise, you know. And so every now and then you'll see a baby that might suck a different finger. So then you would look to see what organs are related to those fingers and what attitudes are related to those fingers.
Oh,
So
really?
they're related to the attitude of worry. So, you know, I can't imagine there's anybody out there in our community that's got any worries. I know we're all worry free. So, you know, you guys probably don't need to do this, but if you have any worry that you would like to harmonize, you can hold your thumbs and just hold like this, and it doesn't hurt. If fear is also something that creeps up, I'm holding my index finger on one hand and my thumb on the other hand.
Oh, okay. So
I just visit the dentist. This is probably my biggest fear, is going to the dentist, and I did this the whole time, and I had to have a lot of stuff done, like including the top of there's a bone at the top of my mouth they had to shave down while I was not quite knocked out. I didn't feel it, but I could feel my brain going. Blah, 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 blah. And kind of like jackhammering, but and then you can switch and you can do the other side, so you can get worry and fear together right at the same time. You know, if I'm standing in the line grocery store and I'm waiting in line, you know, I put my hands on the cart and I hold whatever, just because why not? What else am I going to do? You know,
that is so cool.
So yeah, this is really powerful. Go ahead.
That was safety energy lock 1.
Yeah. And so that's because now we're in the month of January, and I'll talk about January after that, but that's why I brought up Safety Energy Lock 1. Plus, it's a good place to start, but today we're going to jump around. We're not going to do them in numerical order. The next one is going to be Safety Energy Lock 11, and it is like perfectly aligned with what we're talking about today, because in what we are all, a lot of different readers and shows are talking about releasing, which I like to think of as real easing.
Can we answer Amanda Carroll?
Yes.
What about arthritis? I have a bit in my thumbs.
All the more reason to be holding them. And I would hold them very, very gently, you know, and you can hold them and you know, move around, play with it. Just, and sometimes what I do, like when I'm really stressed, and I know this probably sounds silly, maybe you guys can relate to it. You know, when you were a baby and you sucked your thumb, you had kind of that sucking motion, you know, I simulate that sometimes with my other hand, just to it seems to help. That's just me. I don't think that that's a Jin Shinjitsu thing. I think that just helps me. It seems comforting to me, but I only use it when I'm like really stressed. But I'll do that, and it seems to help. But what you will find is you'll know when it's really harmonized. You'll feel the pulses. You'll start to feel, and it's not the blood pulses. You'll feel the energy pulse wherever you're holding. When it's, you know, when you've got the harmony back, then you'll feel the pulses come through. It's so they say a minimum of 5 inhales and exhales for each, but you can do longer. Self-help, you can do as much as you want.
Very cool. Yeah, I can feel
you're working on yourself. I'm sorry.
No, don't be sorry. I'm just feeling. I can't believe how much tension, or you know, backflow, or whatever it is, in one of my thumbs is. But
yeah, it's interesting when you start. It's called, another way that Mary would call this, she would say it was the art of getting to know myself. And it really was, you know, when you start discovering, oh, I didn't know it hurt there, or, you know, whatever. So anyway, I'll move on to Safety Energy Lock 11, because today is the 11th. And Safety Energy Lock 11 is up here at the neck, if you can see that. Just the way you can hold it, like right straight over your shoulder, or you can go across the body and put it on the opposite. Just kind of reach around there. Remember, these things, they're about the size of the palm of your hand. Okay, so you don't have to bullseye it. But I'm back.
I was trying to make it.
I'm sorry. I just realized about the Amanda and the arthritis. I got yakking, but also, you know, play around with like really getting your other fingers into the palm of your hand when you're holding the thumb. I find that a lot of times if I engage the palm, no matter which finger I'm holding, if I can, like if I'm holding my index finger, I'll get my thumb down in the palm. I find that seems to give me a little extra boost. Finger. So, you know, you got these things available all day long and they don't cost you nothing, you know. Start getting to know them, because there's 144,000 functions in the body, and each finger harmonizes 14,400 of those functions.
Wow.
So you don't have to remember any of this. All you have to remember is Juno says, hold my fingers every day. You don't even have to know why. You'll benefit just from doing it.
It's so cool. Really cool.
So safety energy lock 11 came into the universe meaning the unloading of excess baggage.
Mm,
So whenever you're feeling like, okay, it's hard to let go of something, or knowing that you need to let go of something,
yeah.
just put your hand. Can you show that, Val, on you? Can you put your
Yeah.
hand so they
It's
can? You can do it
the
right straight back. Yeah, just
back
yeah.
of your neck.
Yeah,
And
or you
that's
can cross, or you can go crossways. Either whichever's comfortable. You could
either
cross it
one.
on the other side of the body too. You can
And
do
it's
one at a
also,
time or both.
yeah.
And you could also hold. You could put one hand on the 11, and you could put your other hand on the on the safety energy lock 1 on the inside of the leg. You can play
Oh,
around with it
that's a
that
good
way.
idea. Yeah.
Okay, so now you're prime moving, getting rid of that, unloading that excess baggage, and it also
Mm,
means justice and the janitor of the system,
mm.
which makes sense. You're getting rid of excess baggage. We need the janitor to take it out. Then, right? It's
Yeah.
you don't want it piling up somewhere that it's not released from us. So these are things you can just play around with anytime. You could, like I said, you can do it sitting down. The knees, the legs you have to do sitting down or laying down. But
Right.
the janitor, um, you can do anytime.
So this is also called the ultimate major chakra in the back of your neck, and how Juno is explaining it's the janitor releases all the stuff, all the things that are difficult for us to release. Every time I was shown this by my guides, where my guide was holding her hand on the back of my neck and just kind of running energy through there, a dragon came in and like blew down my spine to burn out anything that was no longer going with me, no longer
Wow.
working for me. And as the uh, my my higher self put her hand on the back of my neck again on the ultimate major, she like had gold, like liquid gold energy going down my spine. It was really cool. It was a really cool little moment there. And I have to say, ever since then, because I used to have really tightness in the neck and I was always hurting there. It was just kind of one of those irritating things that just never went away. And I don't have it.
Wow, that's an
Like,
amazing story.
yeah, it was
I
cool.
love that. Yeah, I'm not familiar with the chakras like you are. That's new to me.
And that's a new chakra online. That one and the navel is literally an orange chakra. But we have so many more than we've
Hmm.
been led to believe. But
Hmm.
anyway, it's energy, right? And that's what you're talking about. We're
Hmm.
moving energy, and how that happens or how it's released. I think the other day when we were together with Adele, I was asking, is this like the meridians in our body?
And
And
it's
it
different. In this, can I tell you
sure.
how a way
Yeah.
I have heard it explained, and I'm not disputing Adele, just many paths up the mountain. Another way I heard it described was, if you look at, okay, so when you think about acupuncture, they work with meridians, and the meridians are where the flow. They put the needles where the flow in the river is the fastest. Okay,
Mm.
that's how acupuncture works. The way Jin Shin Jitsu works, it's like you're addressing all the little tributaries that lead into the river. So you're
Oh,
getting at the cause of things before they become manifest. That's why, I mean, it's, if you're going to, let's say, you're going to have a surgical procedure next week, right? And you think, well, uh, Juno says to do this after surgery, or related to surgery. So I'll do it after surgery. Well, that's great. But if you start doing it before the surgery, you will, likely need less medication, less pain meds, have less bleeding, have less swelling, less recovery time. It makes a big difference. Well, yeah. Okay, great, Jay. So,
yeah.
yeah. So,
And there's a few people sending her, asking to send her healing in our meditation tribe in the morning and stuff. So this is really cool.
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So start working, even if all you remembered is holding your fingers, and you send you a lot of love and support through that procedure, Jay. You'll be
Yeah.
fine. Yeah.
Everybody's so sweet.
Yeah.
Stepping out. Thank you guys. But when you were saying that, I was just reading that Jay was having a
Yeah, yeah,
procedure
yes.
last week, and you just said it, and I was like, I can't make it up,
I know, isn't it so cool? Spirit just
Yeah,
comes through and gets the point
it,
across,
it
So,
really.
and when we can hold our thumbs or what, any of these things, you can hold them and send that energy to the people, to Jay or whoever. If you know someone else who's in need, I can't imagine that any of us knows anyone else who needs a little prayer. I mean, yes, well, it is chi, yes, exactly. Yep.
Okay. I'm telling. I keep messing with my thumb, and I feel like I'm breathing better. It just
Yeah.
cleared up. Really feels cool.
Yeah.
So go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm.
Well, and there were a lot that brings me back to if you would demonstrate this, and I think I told you about this, that putting your thumb or your fingertips in the front of the arm there. Did I tell you about that? To
In
clear.
here.
No, not that one. Okay,
Okay.
put your arms down. So but the same idea, but go to the front of that opposite arm. Like if you went from the armpit on the line going straight up and put your
Okay.
fingertips there in the front. Make your fingers in like a bridge. And put it in the line that goes from your armpit on the inside of your armpit.
Here.
Yeah, you're not
Oh,
getting in the front of your shoulder,
no,
honey. The front of your shoulder.
I
Up.
am in
Yeah,
here.
but in now. Go in where it meets the front of your shoulder, where it meets your torso.
Oh, that's all the way
There,
down here.
not your armpit at all. You're going above your armpit, like where
Okay.
your thumb just was. See
I'm
that?
not getting it. Yeah, I'm
Right
not
there.
getting
Yeah, where you just had it at the end there, where your thumbs were at the end. So
it.
anyway, this is really good spot to where Val's got her thumbs.
Okay.
Really good if people have head congestion of any kind. But a lot of people are going through respiratory stuff right now, or allergies or whatever, or anytime you need to clear your head, this is really, really good to clear your sinuses. You can do one side at a time or do them both at the same time, whatever. You're the artist. This is an art and it's not a technique. So you can go, hey, it's more comfortable if I do it this way than that way. So just something to play around with.
Here's an interesting question for you, Juno, from Nancy Vasquez. First time watching you, Juno. Anything that can help with the belly button discharge? My doc keeps sending me back home and doesn't think it's urgent.
Umbilicus. Okay, so here we have let me move this out of the way so it's not confusing. We'll get a quickie with the fingers. Okay, so thumb harmonizes stomach and spleen. Index finger harmonizes kidney and bladder. Middle finger harmonizes liver and gallbladder. Ring finger harmonizes lung and large intestine. And pinky finger harmonizes heart and small intestine. But diaphragm, where we breathe from, the breathe from your diaphragm that's right under your heart. Okay, that and umbilicus are in the palm of the hand.
Oh.
So I would recommend, you can do this way, get them together. You can do however is comfortable for you to get your palms together would be one way to approach it. Another way is you look at things with the skin. A lot of times are related to liver, has a lot to do with our skin. You can hold your middle finger. To make it easy for Nancy to remember, I would say, however is comfortable to put her palms together and hold all your fingers. It's a very simple, rather than this finger for this and this finger for that, it'll benefit you to hold all of them. And I'm not a doctor. I'm just giving you support until you can get into the doctor, or, we've seen some, I mean, you heard Adele's story and, because there's so many. Just, I want to put that out there that this is not do this instead of going to your doctor.
And I do have one thing that I hear is, well, I use it. I do it probably once a month. I put a little castor oil in my belly button, and it's supposed to really help throughout your entire system. Now, I don't know. That's just something I've done the last couple of years. I use castor oil for everything. But again, I'm not a doctor either. And this is just kind of, it's not stuff that will hurt you playing with your hands and stuff, but we are not doctors. Just making that clear. All right. So I
was going to give a little little talk about the month of January. That was another, we're here in January, the month of January, which is 1 and then 11. And
Yeah.
so that led me to I have been working on a video that's not quite ready to post yet, but it's about the month of January. So as I was preparing for the show with Val today, I went and reviewed what I had researched about the month of January, and I thought it was pretty interesting. It says it's named after the Roman god Janus, Janus, who was a two-faced god of doorways and thresholds. And Janus also inspired the title of janitor. So how appropriate. We've got Safety Energy Lock 11 on the 11th being the janitor, and Janus is about being the janitor. The janitor was the earthly ruler of doorways and corridors, and he was honored on the first day of every month. So that shows you the, extra importance of addressing that, like if you're only going to do this once a month, it's better than not at all. It's better to make it a daily practice, but if you can remember it once a month, it will help you. It's cumulative too with Jinshin Jitsu. So, and then it says, because it was the gateway of the new year, January was named after the Roman god Janus, Janus, who was the keeper of the gates of heaven. And the two faces, one looked back to the old year and one looked forward to the new year. Janus also carries a key, and that key unlocks and locks the doors and gates. So there you go again, relating that to the one, Safety Energy Lock 1, or any of these Safety Energy locks. I just thought it was so cool how it all connected.
It is.
This really tickled me. It says prior to the imperial period, which was 27 BCE to CE 284, one of the two faces was female. They weren't just two male faces. And the Jana was the name, Jana was the name of the female face. And she was later assimilated to be Juno. So I was like, wow, I didn't expect to see that. And, I don't know if everybody knows this, but Juno is actually my dog's name, which I named her 14 years ago. So that just tickled me no end to find all these connections of how we're all connected, everybody,
Yeah, I mean, it is. Viviani's got a good question here for you too, Juno.
Okay, I can teach you something. And the easiest way to express this is just to sit on your hands, and you can have your hands palm up or palm down.
Okay, it doesn't matter.
Standing up or laying down, however is comfortable for you.
Okay.
This is really, really powerful. And then, you want to aim for, if everybody can find their sit bones. So that's that bony area when you get on there. Okay, so if you find your sit bones, imagine a circle around each sit bone, right?
Gotcha.
Okay, in your mind. So now with only one hand, let's say everybody do this with their right hand. Excuse me, got a frog. We call it making a bridge. So I've kind of got all my fingers together, and they're see what I mean? They're close together, and we call that a bridge. So, and just on your right side, keep your other hand where it is, and on the right side, make a circle all around that sit bone. Like press up in one area in that circle for like however many seconds, and then keep moving around in that circle, and then press on the next area, and then how you can take as much time as you want. Play with this. And work all the way around that sit bone. This is so good for anything with the hips. And, work with your breath, keep the inhaling and exhaling going. And then when you stop, you can see how does it, and then sit and take your hands out now, and then see how does it feel? Do you notice any difference between one side and the other? There's no rush.
I remember you helped me with this about a month ago.
Good for sciatica.
Yeah, for sciatica. It might have been a little longer, but it took a long time. And I complained about it, and Gino recommended this, and I didn't hurt after that.
Wow. So how do you feel now? Do you notice a difference from one side to the other?
Me? Yes. Yeah. From now, just from what we did, yes.
What does it feel like?
It feels lighter on the side I was working on. Like the other side feels a little denser, I guess, if that's the word. Tighter on the other side that hasn't been worked on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for me, it feels like it's cool. It feels like it's got an internal ice pack. Is how everybody feels it their own way, but you will notice a difference. So you can and do both sides. You can do them at the same time, or you can do them separately. Like I said, you're the artist. Yeah, the point is work with these things. You got your hands free. You got your, and this is also another good thing if for people who are really sedentary, or people in a wheelchair, people who have limited mobility. If you're stuck sitting on an airplane or a train or a bus or something for a long ride, and it gets uncomfortable. This is I just got the biggest noise in my left ear. And like that sense, when you're in an airplane, when the pressure changes, I got that in my left ear. So maybe because I was talking about sitting on an airplane, but that it's like energetic exercise. So it can replace energetically when you can't exercise, you can't be active. It can really help your whole body energetically that way to replace that energy.
That's really cool.
Moving forward. So
yeah.
You're welcome, Vivian.
It's very, it's just amazing, like that we can take certain points of the body. The name kind of throws people off, and if they think it's a martial arts or something, and it's not. It's harmonizing, the Japanese art of harmonizing the body, of the energy in your body. Did I say that right?
It's mind, body, spirit. So it basically translates to mean art of the creator through the compassionate person, compassionate man, person of compassion. And I just wanted to go back to Jay for 1 second. The other thing, she could hold the inside again of her, the safety energy lock one there, either the high one or the one proper, and then put the other hand on the jaw that hurts. Whatever, and then hold the opposite, because it's as of energy. One of the ways energy flows in the body, it's as above, so below in a figure 8. Okay. So if it's on her face, on let's say on the left side, then she would be on the right side on the inside. See, why that's on a different side of the body. But if you mess up and go on the same side, don't worry. It just takes a little longer for the energy to work. That's all. But anyone who wants to send Jay energy, if she's open to that, that's what they could do, Jinshin Jitsu wise, and send. Even if you did it for a few, briefly is helpful. Anything is better than not. So.
Right.
Again, I'm not a medical doctor, but to help harmonize heart function energy, is how Mary put it, is hold the pinky finger, most especially the one on the left side, because our heart is a little bit more on the left side. This is another one that's good to get down in there, get your thumb down into your palm. It'll feel and you can even put your index finger, down the back of your hand. Do whatever's comfortable for you, and play around with it. Sorry?
It feels good. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, and this is also good if you're having like monkey mind analysis paralysis, because this is heart and small intestine. Small intestine is where our food gets sorted out in our digestive system. So this also has to do with sorting out thoughts, digesting our thoughts. So if you're feeling like you're on a wheel going round and round with the same thought, this can really help harmonize that. So in acupuncture, the meridian for the heart comes right at the very end of the pinky finger on the inside of the nail. Okay. And I have heard of people more than once who have driven themselves to the hospital while having a heart attack, and they were biting on their pinky finger, and it kept them alive till they got medical help. So again, this is what you do. This is not instead of. This is in addition to going to your doctor, seeking medical help. You do these things, and then also to maintain. It's good to do this preventatively. The more you're harmonized, the less susceptible you are to. And here comes the love train to punctuate.
I was just gonna say, love train here.
Time to do the love train dance.
Love train is really loud and talking today too. I usually don't hear it like that. Go ahead.
So I would focus, there's other things, but that's an easy one to remember, and I like to keep it simple because it's complicatedly simple and simply complicated, like Adele said. That was one of Mary's sayings. So, just the more you can work with holding that pinky finger, and you can work around, detail, go see if you can find where there's some tenderness, and then give it
Yeah,
lots of love, hang out there.
I am. Yeah.
You
Interesting. So the people who were having a heart attack and had like their finger in their mouth, their pinky finger, did they even know that this
So they,
was?
they knew what they were doing. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. They knew what they were doing. I know,
Okay. So
Sarah, do you have time for a couple stories?
sure.
Well, I was going to tell, well, I'll tell the one about the pinky finger because we're on that. Sarah, who's my mentor, and she's one of the Jinshin Jitsu instructors. She's just an amazing individual. And she knew Mary. She studied under Mary for a long time,
Hmm.
like personally. And she was in a store one time, like Ross or something. She had just walked in, and while she was there, a guy was on the floor having a heart attack. And of course, it takes time for the medical help to get there. But she, she went over, and because everybody just standing there, nobody knew what to do. So she was, doing what she had to do. And I don't know if she was giving compressions on the chest, but then the point was that she was biting his pinky finger while she was doing what she was with her hands. Okay. And it was keeping him alive. So of course, when the ambulance people get there, they're like, okay, strange lady. But they told her later, that what she did was, what I mean? Like they thanked her because she kept him alive. Because it's a known thing, like in acupuncture. It's not it's not just a woo-woo thing. You can look it up in books and see that that's where the meridians go.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't think it was woo woo, but a lot of people just don't know this stuff, right?
Right.
Like the
Right.
tip of your pinky finger on your left hand is good to rub on or hold if you're having a heart
Pressure.
issue.
If you're
Yeah,
having a heart attack, you want to put pressure on it. But like I
pressure.
said, this won't keep you from needing medical attention if you're having a heart attack. But
Right.
this is like that first aid that you got right within your own body, on your own self. If no matter where you are, if you know these things, you can do these
Yeah.
things.
Really feels good. Doesn't I've been playing with the tips of my fingers, but
Mhm.
that my pinky was really like had a lot of release points in it. I don't know. I never really noticed that it was jammed up like that.
Well,
Um,
that's the thing, we're so used to being in this body and grunting and groaning, especially every time we stand up out of a chair.
yes.
Oh, I never used to make these noises. And then if we harmonize those places, we don't even know that they're hurting, because other ones that are hurting more take the attention. So you
Mhm.
kind of almost don't really notice the other ones. They're just like a general, like, oh, I just hurt all over kind of thing. But I really hurt here or there. And a lot of times, isn't it in your neck? I mean, I think most people can relate to having some sort of neck discomfort.
Oh, my neck used to be awful. I mean, and I always worked in restaurants too, so this was for years. I haven't had neck problems since that little meditation with my higher self and the dragon. It was pretty cool. Um, there's a lot to our energy centers. It is everything.
Mm-hmm.
And as we go further in these higher, finer vibrations, and we come in to where like there's CRISPR technology, yeah, but they're coming in with sound technology, healing technologies, right? We
Mm-hmm.
have these abilities around us from Jinsen Jitsu, from the acupuncturists,
Mm-hmm.
all these people who know these points, massage therapists, they just know these points, and it's the way, to me, it's the way of how we're really going to heal ourselves in the future, or well, we are now, but
Yeah.
this is going to become more commonplace than
And
it
it's
has.
ancient knowledge. It's not new. I mean, Jinshin Jitsu is thousands of years old. I mean,
Right.
old. It's way before Jiro. He brought it back to, and then he expanded on it. And then
Right.
Mary brought it to the United States, and then she westernized a lot of it. And she expanded where the correlations to all the different things, how it's related to astrology and numerology and all the different colors and
Hmm.
numbers and crystals and all that fun stuff that we like to talk about.
Yeah.
So it's just and it's the thing is, it's a lifelong study. It's a journey that you're on. If anybody is interested in this, it's intimidating, I know, at first, to think like, well, there's just so much to learn. But I encourage you to really, however, at whatever level, to learn it, because it'll change your life. You know, a lot of times it saves people's lives. I don't know how many stories I've heard, and that was the other story I was going to tell was back to the holding the thumbs. You know, again,
Mm-hmm.
the safe energy lock one, and also, and this is the thumb is the leader of the parade. So again, anybody you're having a, you know, serious whatever it is, you can't think about what to do. You know what I mean? Just know that
Mm-hmm.
your go-to is your thumb. Okay, that'll do whatever. That'll get there. Whatever I need, it'll get there. The energy will go where it needs to go. So my friend Sarah, again, she tells a story about when she went to a nursing home to teach them just basic things of holding their fingers, just simple,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And she's a lot like the energy like Kim Copeland, you know, very serene and, you know, just calm and
Mm-hmm.
easygoing. And she says, okay, so now we're going to talk about our thumbs and hold our thumbs and how important she went into her spiel about holding her thumbs. And this little lady in a wheelchair bursts into tears.
Mm-hmm.
It just, you know, like, oh, and Sarah's just crushed. You know, what did I say? I didn't mean to upset you. Whatever. She gets down on her knees in front of her, you know, so at her level, and she says, "What? Tell me what's going on." And the lady, you know, between tears, she says, "My whole life, I've held my thumb. Not sucked my thumb. I've held my thumb, and my family has made fun of me my whole life, and this
Mm-hmm.
just feels so good." And she goes, "And you know what? I'm here. They're all dead."
Lord, oh my goodness.
But you know, here's the thing, you know, she
Yeah.
was listening. She was in her 80s.
Yeah,
You know
she's
what I mean?
listening.
She was up there and she still defied whatever. She was mocked and everything, but she held her thumb because she knew for herself it harmonized her.
Yeah, yeah, it's
And think of
harmony.
the freedom. Think of I mean, she waited all those years to finally be validated and be told it's okay to hold your thumbs. You're doing the right thing.
It's something what we do to each other, huh? Well, hopefully that's going to be in the past, that type of things. But yes, the other day when we were on with Adele and the JSJ for your animal companions, to me that was just wow. It is for animals and humans. But
Mhm.
imagine having people going to rescues and doing these things, showing how to do these things, to just spreading this basic, simple, just the simple tips that she gave us. To me, seemed like it would make a huge difference for.
Yeah, you could learn one or two things. Even the first thing she showed, you know, on the back of the neck and between the shoulder, you're between the front legs there.
Right.
Powerful, powerful, powerful. Yeah,
Oh,
she's such an excellent teacher. Oh,
oh, that is cool,
oh,
Nancy.
we're
Somebody else
glad
said
you're here,
that.
Nancy.
I like. And Mary was big
Yep,
into numerology.
yep,
Yes, and everything's connected, though,
yep.
right? I mean, we could connect the dots and keep going and keep going. It's just, it's everything's energy. I say this all the time with the 12 universal spiritual laws, and you just build on that. And if you can really focus in, there's some brilliant people like Mary Brewmeister who came up with JSJ. I mean, it just goes on and on. Everything's energy, though. And as we are still on the number one, and that is to me to bring it back to yourself and be in your presence. Take your couple deep breaths and just relax into you. And that helps with your self confidence. It helps us with staying focused on what it is we want to focus on, not having our focus being pulled off, which constantly happens out in the world. Or if you watch the news, which I mean, I'm not saying don't watch the news, but really limit yourself. Because if we can sit in stillness, just a small part of the day, and connect and take that sacred pause, take the time to be with ourselves and do these types of things. I don't know if you're playing with the energy log 1 or 11 or if your fingers, but it's just simple things are bringing us back to ourselves and bringing humanity back to itself, right? We really got disconnected, pulled away.
I don't know if it sounds loud, if you can hear it, but it sounds like it's like Andy M time outside my house. My whole house is just shaking from the wind and the
From
rain.
what?
It's crazy.
Oh, from the rain?
Well, wind and rain, it's like,
Oh my
and
gosh.
it's like battering from it all different. It's not straight line. It's going all these different directions. So
Let's send
put
Juno's
a
house
bubble of
some.
protection.
Yeah, I put protection
I'm in a
in.
mobile home. I'm vulnerable in a mobile home. I get a little nervous when it gets really windy like this. So thanks everybody for.
And remember, bring those dragons in.
Can I tell another story about Safety Energy Lock 1?
Sure.
Again, this is from my friend Sarah, but she used to live in Hawaii, and she lived right on the beach. And she lived where there was a small island, not, it was a swimmable distance from where she was. So that was her practice every day. She would go out and swim out to that island and, and then take time, whatever she did, and then she would come back. And she was all by herself. And one day she was out there, and it had stormed the day before. But she was not a native there. She was kind of like, I'm going to do it because I want to do it. So she, even though the water was murky, she got in the water and to swim to this island. She didn't get very far, and the reason why the natives there tell you not to do that is because that's when all the jellyfish come out. And she swam into a pot of jellyfish.
Goodness.
And she's all by herself. I mean, she somehow she got herself to the shore, like just, where she could, and just flopped on her side on the beach and crossed her hands and held her once. She had stingers all over her, all, from head to toe. And
Oh my goodness.
she laid there and she said the only breath she could get felt like breathing through a coffee straw. And she was, a lot of people die from anaphylactic shock from that. So she laid there and she held the inside of her, like I'm telling you guys, Safety Energy Lock 1, inside of the knees or inside of the thighs, wherever you can reach. Even if you can only do one hand, it's better than none. And after about 20 minutes, then she could start to breathe again. And then she sat up slowly, and then she picked up sand to rub off those tentacles because they were still stuck all over her. And then somebody noticed, a friend of hers, I think, realized what had happened and came running and said, we got to get you to the emergency room. People die from this. And she goes, I think I'm okay now. I think the worst is past. Wow. So these are like, if you look at these things as first aid things to remember, if you're in an emergency situation, okay, this is not, like I said, never in place of any medical treatment. But if you're this is happening right now, and there isn't a medical person right here to help me in immediate, hold the insides of your knees. If somebody else is having something going on, these are things you can do to help them too. So.
Well, Sharon, I don't know. We'll have to ask Juno.
Yep.
Is this okay?
Yep.
So,
yeah. Sharon she's also a Shinjitsu practitioner.
Nice. So what does that mean? If you take the ones.
Prime mover. It's the prime mover. If you want to move anything out of your body, wouldn't you go to the prime mover? And
okay.
And we're talking about mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically. It's on all the.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That is so cool.
It's very, very powerful.
Thank you. Thank you for bringing that in to us today, Juno. Is there anything else about the number 1 we want to talk about? We're going to talk about JSJ in a couple more videos. Juno and I are going to be together probably a couple times a month, so we will be touching on it more and more. If you have any questions, please email us. Anything.
Yeah. Or ideas or, feedback, whatever. And I'm just, I live for Jinshin Jitsu, in case you guys can't tell. I just love it. And it means a lot to me. And thank you again so much, Val, for giving me the opportunity, and also for having Adele on. I think that was really, really just amazing of you to do that, to give her a platform to get her message out there, because she's an amazing person. And she's just.
You're both amazing people. And Bora, I agree with you. I like alternative medical doctors too. I am.
Well, this is how I, 24 years ago, this is how I was introduced to Jinshin Jitsu, was at a doctor's office, because the pain management doctors couldn't help me. We tried for 2 years.
Oh,
And so
wow.
yeah, I mean, we tried shots in my back, long bouts of physical therapy, all the drugs you can imagine, all of it. And it, just made me sicker. It didn't make me better. And she said, I'm going to
Mhm.
send you to another doctor that does this energy work. She goes, I can't even pronounce it, but some people like it. And I went over there, and I'll tell you what, that changed my life. After 2 sessions, it was like somebody was putting Humpty Dumpty back together again. It wasn't just the physical.
Wow.
It was,
Oh,
yeah, it was amazing. And then, I got
yeah.
sessions every 2 weeks on average for 5 years, and my insurance paid for it because she worked in a clinic and she could code it in such a way that it was covered. And I still benefit. It's cumulative, and the benefit that it stays with you after you've had a session. It stays with you.
So
And
JSJ is what you
yeah,
mean. Stays
yeah,
with you.
yeah, Jinshin, yeah, it stays with you. The effect
How,
helps so much.
like for Bora Bora, how would she find a practitioner? Like, it seems like you and Sharon know a lot about this. I'm sure there's a website that can lead her, JSJ website could lead her to practitioners.
The main office in Scottsdale, their email or their website is jsjinc.net.
J.
JSJ Inc., like incorporated.net. They have a directory on there, but that directory is something that practitioners have to pay like a subscription in order to be listed there. So there's a whole lot of practitioners that are not listed on there. So
Oh,
I would encourage you to, Google or, do what you can in your own area. I don't know of one, and maybe Sharon does. I don't know of a main place that you can go to find a
yeah,
practitioner, but I have been able to Google and find, you know, put in the name of a city or whatever, and then Jinshin Jitsu practitioner. And I've had success, but if, they have to somehow be online so you can find them too with that
yeah.
method. But I also, talk to like chiropractors or massage therapists, and they may know of it because it's becoming more and more known. And there's hospitals who are using it. So, added acupuncture. Yeah. Yeah.
Bora Bora,
Acupuncture is great.
I think Sharon Donnelly is asking where do you live, and maybe she can help direct you if you would like to put your information, or if not, you can email me or uh, Juno.
Yeah, we'll see what we can do. However, whatever we can do, it might take all of us to figure it out. But and I'll see if I'll ask around and see if I can find if there is any other new way of contacting people.
Yeah, I mean,
They're all over the world. It's just, and I know in some countries it's a lot more prevalent and more well known than it is here.
right, like, yeah, it's not so much here. Hopefully, America's going to grow up in next couple years. But for those of us who are on the spiritual path or heart centered, soul centered, it's not so much being spiritual or religious. It's just about being a good person. Um, we're on a fresh start in a new chapter. This is new energy. We've been bringing this energy in for the last few years, and as we stabilize it and we are in those higher frequencies, we're we're opening up our lives to these types of new ways of going forward without the restrictions that we all, every aspect of our lives has had a lot of restrictions put on it. But that's about to be released on some level. But
Mm-hmm.
it is about, our intuition. We're connected to spirit, to source, to our spiritual team. We all are feeling what's going on. So if you're having a, like for Bora Bora, if she wants to find a doctor, you will find an
Mm-hmm.
alternative doctor. These
Yeah, we
things
will.
just start coming.
Mm-hmm.
Once you ask a question to this seemingly, is air around us, the ethers around us, you get the answers. Juno and I were just talking about that before we went live, on how, I mean, it's mind blowing. You get the answers. You're just thinking of something, and all of a sudden it's there somehow. It's just really, that's the energy we're starting to, well, we're in it, we just haven't noticed it, you know, and it's becoming it, once it becomes more, we're more comfortable, we understand it more, it shows up more, it's just
Mhm.
there. I don't know how to explain it. Do you have a better way to, you know,
No,
explaining it?
well, because if you're aligning with that energy, and it
Yeah.
also occurred to me to recommend places like health food stores, or
Yes.
like in Tucson, we have that huge. There's a couple of huge bookstores called Bookman's, and they have a bulletin board. There's places, even your supermarket. You never know where
Hmm.
you will find it. You will align with it.
Yes.
If you're supposed, not saying you're not supposed to, but it'll come. We'll do what we can to help you find somebody.
Oh,
But I
they're
can't. Yeah.
they're sharing
And I do
Donnelly
remote too. Yeah,
Horrible,
you can do it remotely. You
and
can.
she's so she is in the chat. Bora Bora saying she is in the northeast in the U.S.
Hmm.
and she does. I do it remotely and have been told of miracles
Well,
from it.
that's
And
awesome.
she's
I love
wow,
that, Sharon.
wow.
That's great. That's really great.
Yeah, and I understand. Bora Bora doesn't want to, but if you want
Yeah,
her Sharon's email, you can contact. Or Sharon, if you don't mind putting your email in or sending it to me, I'll
yeah.
put
Send
my
it to us,
email
and then
in.
it won't be posted,
Right. And I'll
anywhere.
put my email in.
That's
Here's
totally
mine.
understandable. And that's a good point too. And I was
Yes.
going to point out for all the animal lovers out there, here's Adele's chart. And I wanted to show the safety energy lock 1 on a dog is right here, kind of at the inside of, that's called the inside knee, is how that anatomy is termed right there. So if you want to help your dog to harmonize, you could hold them there, and
Hmm.
also on the cat. So let's see. Anybody see? It's got
I
to be in the
just can't.
same. There it
I
is. Yeah,
can.
inside knee. Sorry, I'm reading
Okay.
upside down, everybody. So
So,
same place.
I
And
don't know if my cat would let me, but I am going to
even if
try.
you don't touch them, though, you wouldn't have to touch their body. You could just hold over that area, because
Okay.
remember, it's you know how it is. It's like how
Yeah.
Reiki works too. And then
Yeah.
11 will be here at the back of the neck on the dog, just
Okay.
like on us. So at the lower part, right above their rib cage, like where their ribs start. Not up here like behind their ear, but it's down.
Right.
Yeah. So that'll be really helpful. And then the same thing for the cats, right there at the base, kind of the base of the neck.
Very cool. Yeah. If we can all just start doing this to our own pets, you
Yeah.
know. I mean,
And you
and
both, when you give a session, you get a session. The energy benefits you if you're
mm,
working on someone else. It helps everybody. High tide lifts all boats.
oh yeah, I know Bora Bora.
Yeah.
Medicaid. I don't even think that
But
covers much.
do it from a spiritual standpoint, though. Like, obviously spirit knew that I needed this, because I can't do medications and all the other stuff. And somehow I was living in the right place. And this doctor was in Flagstaff, and she'd been there for years. And, and she studied under Mary directly for a long time. So, um,
I
yeah,
bet you do.
it's amazing, isn't it, Sharon? It's just incredible.
Yeah, I
And
bet you
the
do.
thing is, you can't guarantee any results with it, but boy, if you're, I know Sarah. Do we have time for me to tell a story?
Sure.
Okay.
No, I'm not
Yeah.
in a hurry.
Well, it doesn't interfere with any medications or treatments or surgeries or anything. It
Right.
helps. I'll
Oh.
save the story for another day. I told enough stories today, but
And I,
it's amazing. It's just so
yeah,
amazing.
I agree with Aaron. Yeah, Aaron. See, this stuff I'm talking about. How things are set up to be life negating instead of life affirming. That's where America is going to go through a huge transition in this next year or two. But just because that's happening doesn't mean that we take the focus off of ourselves. As long
That's
as
right.
we're connected to spirit, we're doing our heart-centered, soul-centered things that we do. That's that's kind of just the sideshow out there, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And depending on how much
Distractions.
information, I'm sorry, Gino.
Distractions.
Distractions, exactly. And we don't. I'm not saying we don't have to know what's going on, but don't let it entangle you.
Yeah.
Entangle.
Don't let it get a hold in you, just harm it, remain neutral to it. Let it
Yes.
just like water off a duck's back. And
Yes.
that 11 will help you do that too. That water off a duck's back
11 up
idea
here.
that
Okay.
supports that. Yeah. So this is a book. If anybody out there, a great way to get started with this is by teaching children. So this is a
Mm.
book that's put out through the Main Office Fund with Happy Hands, and it's got really great little diagrams for kids to look at. Let's see.
Oh.
Here, what's it say? Happy Hands, my stomach. It helps her stomach hurt. Her stomach's
Oh.
upset. So this shows. Oops, sorry, I'm upside down and backwards. Shows them in
So,
simple terms where to hold themselves.
and oh, that's so
Another
cute. So,
one. This one is for that puts his hands on his belly button. This makes him feel relaxed all over.
mhm.
Just really cool. Of course, they would work for anybody, and anybody can look at this book and understand that's where I put my hands,
Right.
whatever it is.
Not
But
just for kids. Yeah.
showing him how to hold his index finger.
Mm.
So,
That's
and
so.
I don't get any benefit for financial or anything for showing this to you. I'm doing this because I think it's really helpful. And if anybody, especially if we've got kids or grandkids or nieces or nephews or
Mm.
work in a school, I mean, there's a lot of cool things that you can do with it. If you're dealing with students of different ages, if they act out in certain ways, you can teach them things they can do to help harmonize. And don't even you don't have to go into the thing it's Jin Shinjutsu or whatever. You just say, hey,
Hold
try this.
this.
Just hold this finger.
Yes.
Make it a game. Think of a way to make it a game for them, and don't
Yes.
get all heavy with it.
Now, if anyone wants to, do you think they can contact the main office and get the child's
I
book?
think so. I'm not sure. I think I've looked for it on Amazon, and I'm not sure. Of course, those things change all the time.
Right.
But if you go to the jsjinc.net, and I believe there's a store tab on their page,
Mm.
and they have their different books there now.
Mm.
You can buy the self-help books also for adults. You can buy those. You have to be taking a 5-day class in order to get the textbooks.
Okay.
That's a different level, but that'd be over your head to start with anyway. But you can get the self-help books, and those are really the core of all of it anyway. It's all there. So, and the books are they're small books, but every page number has whatever it's on that page. Mary put it on there for a reason. It's like the numerology of it all. Someone earlier was talking about numerology. So, oh, cool. I'm glad you guys are going to get connected.
Yeah, I do. And I just want to just remind everybody, today is 1/11, right? One is the number of the divine. It's a number, one's the number of us because we're a spark of the divine. And that brings us always back to ourselves. Trust yourself, trust your intuition, trust your gut. Right? If your gut hurts, I just love this because you just said that. You put your hands on your gut, on your belly, and it just, to me, it just is speaking. Everything is speaking to us constantly.
Yeah, it's interesting how it's all connected. All the different, in the universe, it's all numbers. Everything is all numbers. So.
It is. Do you want to pull a card for everybody with me?
Yeah, I do. I got my because you were talking about activation, so I have the Sacred Geometry Activations Oracle.
Oh, cool. Yeah, and I have the Gateway of Light activations because we are being activated. This is the beginning of our new year, and we can create anything that makes our heart smile. And I want everyone to realize that. It's important that you have the power. Ooh.
You're so wise, Val.
Oh my goodness. No, you're the one who's wise.
No, it's reflecting you.
Uh-uh.
So I pulled card. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. Go.
I pulled card 15, compassion. I'll read it to you and then I'll show you because I can't do it upside down. The frequency of compassion supports our ability to stand by others without judgment and be the divine mediator between heaven and earth, spirit and matter, so that unconditional love can flow from source through our heart and into the world. It doesn't get any more beautiful than that.
Wow, look at that.
See that? It's got the flower of life in it,
Yeah, it is. And Flower Life was coming up a lot with me today too. I got Holy Grail. It says
Oh,
inner discovery, finding sacredness. You are what you seek.
well,
Wow.
compassion is the holy grail, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah, that's so cool.
That card, the light out of that card is intense.
It is. It's so cool. I can try to make it.
Wow.
There we go.
Isn't that amazing?
Thank you all so much for coming in by and hanging out with us. Like I said, Juno and I will be doing some shows together. Well, probably a couple shows a month together. Oh,
Okay.
Juno, I forgot to let you know that you could have streamed
I
this to
can't yet
your.
until I upgrade my internet. I can't.
Oh, I'm
It won't
sorry.
handle it.
Okay,
Yeah,
I
but
didn't know.
we're good.
All right. We love you all, and I'll be with Diana tonight at 7 talking about the new moon in Capricorn on today, 111. Everybody, we love you. Be safe out there.
Thanks, everybody. Love you guys. Bye.